Happy Monday morning, girls. Ready for another week of video classes. We are down to the 6th week of the last quarter. It means we only have 3 more weeks of school, which is crazy, really crazy. So you guys gotta make it the best. You gotta make the most of the last 3 weeks, okay? If we can. Anyways. Today we have lesson 4. We are reviewing adverbs, but before we do that, we are going to review. I want us to diagram the sentence I have up here on the board. The eagle flew above the river and searched for fish. So go ahead, pause the video, and I want you to diagram this sentence. All right, go ahead and do that. All right, now that you guys are done, I'm gonna go through it and we're gonna check it and see if we did it correctly. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and find our subject. The eagle flew above the river and searched for fish. Our subject would be eagle, right? So let's underline our eagle. And then what did the eagle do? He flew. Is there anything else that our eagle did? He flew and he searched, right? So we have our compound verb. So our subject, remember our subject goes right here, our eagle. And then what did he do? So we have our compound verb. All right, so he flew and he searched. Now, what are these guys right here? Remember what those are? Those are prepositional phrases, right? So he flew where? He flew above the river. He searched for fish, right? So we got all these except for this first word, which is the, and it's describing our eagle. So we have the eagle flew above the river and searched for fish. All right, excellent job, girls. Let's go ahead and let's jump into lesson 4. All right, today we are reviewing our adverbs, and let's start with what is an adverb. Remember, an adverb is a word that describes our verb. It describes the verb in our sentence. What questions do adverbs answer? Jade, what's the first question our adverbs answer? They answer how, Aaliyah, when, where, and to what extent, or how much, like to what extent something is, okay? And I'll explain that a little bit further later in the video. So remember, our adverbs answer how, when, and where. So to find our adverbs in a sentence, we simply find our verb and then we ask these questions and we see if any of those words or any of these questions are answered by a word in our sentence. So for instance, the first one we have Lynn spoke excitedly. So let's just ask our first question. How did she speak? She spoke excitedly, right? So here's our adverb that's describing our verb spoke. Let's move to the next one. Shane was sick yesterday. So was what? Or no, not was sick. Here's our verb, right? Was sick. And when was he sick? He was sick yesterday, right? So here is our adverb that's answering when he was sick. There's how he was sick. Now the next one, I'm going outside to play. So here's our subject, I, and then am going is our verb, and then I am going where? Outside, right? I'm going outside, so here's our adverb describing where you're going. Now the last one, to what extent? So let's listen to this one. Mr. Yoder is very tall. So remember, adverbs don't only just modify verbs, but they can also modify adjectives. So here, Mr. Yoder is tall. here is our predicate adjective that is being linked back to Mr. Yoder, and it's describing Mr. Yoder. It's saying he is tall, all right? So this is our adjective, right? Now, to what extent or how tall is he? He is very tall. So that is what our adverb to what extent answers. How or to what extent he was tall. He was very tall. So adverbs modify verbs or adjectives. They answer the questions how, when, where, and to what extent. Okay? Notice it says the adverbs never, not, and the contractions of not often separate a verb phrase. So those two sentences, they have Sherry has never read Pollyanna, and Mr. Gomez isn't leaving until tomorrow. So notice, I don't have any up here on the board, but the words adverbs never, not, and the contraction of not, which would be NT, often separate our verb phrases, and they're always adverbs, okay? And then diagramming adverbs, we diagram adverbs on a slanted line under the word they modify. And what do adverbs modify? They modify our verbs, and they also can modify adjectives, okay? So, for instance, if we're diagramming this word, which would be an adverb describing our adjective, here's my marker. My marker situation is very bad. Here we have Mr. Yoder is our subject. Is, and he is what? Remember, our predicate adjective goes there. And then very is describing tall, so we would put that right underneath very, just like that, okay? Now, if we have this one, we have I am going where? Outside. So our adverb gets diagrammed underneath our verb, going, okay? And Shane was sick when? Yesterday. So yesterday would go underneath there, just like that, right? And we have one more. Actually, this would be like this. We have one more to do. Lynn spoke. And how did she speak? She spoke exciting. So that is going to go underneath our, man, it's kind of hard to see. I need to get new markers. Anyways, that is your adverb review lesson for today. I hope that is all. Hopefully you guys can understand that, and if you have any questions, go ahead and just message me or give me a video call. All right, see you guys.